children, welcome to grade 7 mathematics classroom. Today we are going to talk about the 23rd unit of your mathematics textbook, Cartesian planes. So quickly take out your mathematics textbook and turn to page number 109. Right, before starting the lesson, I thought of telling you what you would be able to learn after studying this lesson. So, after studying this lesson, you would be able to identify what a Cartesian plane is. Then you would be able to identify a point on a Cartesian plane by its coordinates. And at the end, you will learn how to plot points on a Cartesian plane when its coordinates are given. Right? Are you ready to start the lesson now? So, before moving to the Cartesian plane, I thought of starting with the number lines. Can you remember the number lines that you have learnt in grade 6? Right. In grade 6, you have learnt how to draw a number line properly, mark points on number line. When the marked points are given, you knew how to retrieve the values of the points. So, we will take one by one and recall the previous memory on number lines. So, as you can see in the slide, we are going to draw number lines, draw a suitable number line. So, when you are drawing a number line, first of all, you know that the number line is a sequence of numbers marked on a straight line segment. Therefore, first of all, you need to draw the straight line segment. In the right corner, you need to put an arrowhead when you draw a number line. Then what should you do? Then you have to portion the number line into equal parts. As you can see in the slide, when you are portioning the line, the gap between two lines should be always equal. Right. Now I have finished portioning straight line segments into parts. So, it's the time to put numbers into this line. So, I am going to start with 0. So, at the same time, I need you also to draw the number line on your books. Right. So, we will see who is going to put the numbers first. Okay. We will start with 0. Okay, here I have marked 0 on the number line. So, after I mark 0, I can divide the number line into two directions. First one is to the right hand side from 0. That direction is called the positive direction of the number line. Then towards the left hand side of 0, you can say that is the negative direction of the number line. Once again, so 0 is there, towards the right hand side, you are having the positive direction, towards the left hand side, you are having the negative direction. Right. So, in positive direction, you should have positive numbers. So, first we will put the positive numbers on this number line. So, in number line, you have learnt in grade 6 that from left to right, the value of the numbers get higher. Therefore, the numbers you are going to put in your right hand side should be greater than 0. Right. Once again, look at this slide, please. There, after 0, you have to add 1 point to 0 to get the next value. So, 0 plus 1, that is 1. Therefore, after that, once again you have to add another unit to 1 to get the next number. So, then we can obtain 2. Likewise, we can obtain 3, we can obtain 4. The value of the numbers get higher. So, you can mark furthermore, but here I have space only to mark up to 4. Right. Next we will mark negative numbers in the negative direction. Right. As I have mentioned you before, numbers in the negative direction should be negative numbers, that means less than 0. Right. So, I am going to deduct 1 unit from 0 to obtain the first negative number to mark on this number line. So, when I deduct 1 from 0, the answer is minus 1. So, once again I am going to deduct a unit from minus 1, then it becomes minus 2. Likewise, we can obtain minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. Here I have space only up to minus 3, but you can draw a number line and mark more points on the number line. Right. Now we have finished drawing the number line. Now can you remember the things you have done in grade 6? Okay, once again I will repeat, we drew a number line. The value of the numbers should get higher from left hand side to right hand side, and towards the right hand side from 0 you have the positive numbers, that is the positive direction. Towards the left hand side of 0 you have the negative numbers, that is the negative direction. Now we will indicate points on a number line. That is also thing that we have learnt in grade 6. So, look at this example. Example number 1. A is equals 4. Now we are going to indicate the point A on this given number line. Here we have got a number line marked from minus 3 to plus 4. Right. Now I am going to mark the point A on this number line. So, I am going to start from 0. Before that we have to see 4 should be in the positive direction. I have to move 4 times towards the positive direction from 0. So, when I move 4 times from 0 towards the positive direction, I can mark the point at plus 4, and that is we have to name it as A. Right. Did you mark the point A on your number line? So, we will see whether you have marked it correctly or not, because we have noticed that some of the students are marking it in a wrong manner. Have you marked this point like this? Right. Is that the way that you have marked the point? If it's so, that is wrong. Why? The point is not correctly marked on plus 4. We will see, get another way. Is this the way that you have marked your point? Once again, it is wrong because it is not correctly marked. Now, how to mark it correctly? You have to mark the point on the cross exactly. So, this is the correct way of marking the point on a number line. Right. Now, you know how to mark a point correctly on a number line. So, I am going to give you another example. So, try to mark the point correctly before me. Right. Previously, we have marked a positive value. This time, we are going to mark a negative value. So, here example number 2, B equals minus 2. So, once you saw the question, you can identify that minus 2 should be there in the negative direction of the number line. So, we have to start from 0, we have to move 2 times towards the negative direction of the number line from 0. So, then you can mark the point B on minus 2. Once you mark the point, you have to name the point as well. Right. Now, it is easy. So, we will move on to the next session, that is representing the position of a marked value. Now, this time the point is marked on the number line. The thing you have to do is you have to tell its value. Right. Now, look at the number line. I have marked point C on it. So, where is it? Is it in the negative direction or in the positive direction? We will see. We can see it is in the right hand side toward from 0. That means it is in the positive direction. Therefore, it should be a positive value. Where is it marked? It is marked on +2. Therefore, it is the positive direction. Therefore, the value of C should be equals to +2. Okay, now you can remember how you used to represent positions of a marked value. I am going to give you another question. So, try to find the answer before me. Right, here I have marked point D on this number line. So, look at point D. Where is it? Is it in the positive direction of the number line? No, it is not. Then is it in the negative direction of the number line? Once again, it is not. So, where is it? It is exactly on 0. Therefore, we can say the letter D indicates 0. Right. Now, I think you have a sound knowledge on number lines, things you have learnt in grade 6. So, now I am going to move on to the lesson in grade 7. Right. First of all, in the next slide, I have represented the seating position of 5 students in your class. Just look at the slide. Okay, I have named them as A, B, C, D and E. Here, I am going to say, or I am going to express the locations of B, C, D and E with respect to A. Right. So, first of all, I will get locations of D and C with respect to A. Okay. What can you say about point B? It is located at a distance of 1 unit to the left of point A. And what about point C? It is located at a distance of 2 units to the right of point A. So, I thought of representing these points on a number line. So, we will see. I am going to draw a number line to represent their locations. Right. First of all, we need to draw the number line. Right. Then we have to portion the number line. Then we have to put values to the number line. So, I am going to find the locations of B and C with respect to A. Therefore, I am going to mark A on 0. Right. Now, towards the right hand side of 0, you should have positive numbers. You have already learned that is the positive direction. So, I will put the numbers in towards the right hand side of 0. You have +1, +2, +3. Then I will put values towards the negative side, that means towards the left hand side of 0. So, you have negative values there. I have got -1. Right. Then we will mark the points indicating these letters. So, A should be marked on 0, B should be marked on -1, C should be marked on +2. Right. Now, we have finished marking the positions of A, B and C on a number line. Right. Now, let us look at the other 2 points, that is point D and point E. Right. Once again, I am going to create a number line for these 2 points, because we are going to say find the location of these points with respect to point A. Once again, we can see point D is located at a distance of 2 units above point A, and point E is located at a distance of 1 unit below point A. Right. Now I am going to draw the number line. So, first of all, I need to draw the straight line segment, portion the straight line segments, then I am going to put the values to the number line. So, I am going to find the locations of D and E with respect to A. Therefore, A should be on 0. Point D is located 2 units above A. That means above means it is the positive direction. So, D should be in 2 units above 8. So, before marking the point, we will put numbers. So, above means positive numbers should be marked. Then below means the negative numbers should be marked. Right. Now, we will mark the points of A, D and E on this number line. Right. Once again, A is on 0, D is on +2 and E is on -1. Right. Now, we have finished marking points on 2 different number lines. See, point B, point A, point C are on one number line. Point A, point D and point E are on another number line. So, you can observe that point A is marked in 2 number lines. Right. I am going to join these 2 number lines together now. We will see what would happen. The first number line is dragged, then the second number line is dragged. Right. And I am going to join these 2 number lines as point 0 becomes common for both number lines. It is like this now. Can you see the 2 number lines are perpendicular to each other. Those 2 number lines have intersected on point 0, which is perpendicular to each other. Right. Now, have you seen this figure before? Right. This is the same number line we have drawn up to now. So, have you seen this before? That is what we call the Cartesian plane. In 17th century, the French mathematician called René Descartes so that we can represent the location of a point on a grid. So, he invented the Cartesian plane. Right. That is what we are going to learn today. At the beginning, I thought of telling you the features of a Cartesian plane. Right. We will take one by one. In a Cartesian plane, we have 2 number lines intersect perpendicularly. Perpendicularly in sense, when you observe the intersection point, you can see the angle of 90 degrees. Right. Then, the number 0 of each number line is called the origin. So, I told you number 0 is of each number line is common in a Cartesian plane. So, that is what we call the origin. Then, one number line is called the x-axis, the other number line is called the y-axis. Once again, there are 2 axes, one is the x-axis, the other one is the y-axis. So, any point on the plane can be exactly identified by 2 numbers based on the origin, and those 2 numbers are called coordinates of that point. So, we will discuss about coordinates in few minutes. So, first of all, I thought of teaching you how to draw a Cartesian plane properly. Now, can you see this grid? It is the exact grid that you can see in your mathematics writing book. You have squares in it. You can see the same grid there. So, I have used the same grid to draw a Cartesian plane. Therefore, I want you to draw the Cartesian plane with me right now. So, let us start. Right. Before that, get ready with a ruler and a pencil. So, you would need those two instruments to draw a Cartesian plane. Right. We will start. First of all, I told you there are two axes. First one is the x-axis, then the y-axis. So, we will start with the first one. First, I have drawn a straight line segment. Towards your right hand end, I have put a arrowhead. I have put an arrowhead. So, that is the x-axis. Therefore, I have to name it as the x-axis. Don't forget to put the name of it. So, you must name the axes in a Cartesian plane. Then, to perpendicular to the x-axis, we have the y-axis. So, we will draw a straight line segment which is perpendicular to the x-axis. Once again, at the top, I have put an arrowhead. Right. Now, that is our y-axis. So, we will name it as the y-axis. Right. And then we have discussed that the intersection point of those two axes is 0. Therefore, we will mark 0 on the Cartesian plane. Right. Now, we have marked 0 on it. Now, 0 is common for both x-axis as well as the y-axis. Now, I am going to portion the straight line segments or the axes. I will start with x-axis. As we did in number line, you have to portion the two axes. We will get the x-axis first. The gap between two parts should be always equal. Right. Now, I have completed portioning my x-axis. Now, I am going to put values to it. Now, I can see all the points are marked in the right hand side of 0. Therefore, right hand side towards 0 means the positive direction. Therefore, we need to have only positive numbers in the x-axis here. So, we will put numbers into the x-axis. We have plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay, you can put more numbers, but I have space here only up to 8. Right. Next, I am going to portion the y-axis. So, we will portion it as we did for the x-axis. Right. Here also the gap between two parts should be always equal. Once again, I have finished portioning the y-axis. So, we will put values. So, here we can say all the parts are in above to the point 0. Therefore, all the numbers we are going to mention here should be greater than 0. That means, we have to put positive numbers here. So, we will put the positive numbers. We can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Right. Now, I have completed drawing the Cartesian plane. Now, did you do it with me? Did you get, is your Cartesian plane same as mine? Okay, very good. So, then let us move on to the other part of the lesson. That is identifying a point on a Cartesian plane by its coordinate. Right. Now, we are going to identify a point on a Cartesian plane. This time, before identifying the points, we need to know what these coordinates are. Coordinates means the numbers which we use to express the position of a point. Right. Once again, I will say The coordinates means the numbers which we use to express the position of a point. In a Cartesian plane, we have to use two numbers to express the position of a point. We can name those two numbers as x coordinate and y coordinate. Right. So, what are these x coordinate and y coordinate? Right. Now, we will see what an x coordinate is. X coordinate is the perpendicular drawn from a given point to the x axis. Then you can get a value, that is the x coordinate of that point. So, here I have marked point A on the Cartesian plane. So, I am going to find the x coordinate of this point A. Right, here as you can see, when I draw a perpendicular from point A to the x axis, it goes to plus 4. That means I can say the x coordinate of point A is equals to plus 4. Right. Now we are going to find the y axis of the same point. Before that, we have to know what the y axis means. Y axis is the number obtained by drawing a perpendicular from a point to the y axis. So, I will describe it using the same example. Here once again I have marked the point A on the Cartesian plane. So, I am going to find the y axis of it. So, I am going to draw a perpendicular from point A to the y axis. Can you see? The perpendicular goes through plus 3 on y axis. Therefore, I can say the y coordinate of point A is 3. Right. Now, we know what the x coordinate means and what the y coordinate means. But to tell the location of a point, we need to have both coordinates together. So, when we are writing the location of a point, first we have to mention the x coordinate, then we have to mention the y coordinate, and most importantly, we have to mention those coordinates within a simple bracket. Right. Now, previously we got the x coordinate and y coordinate of point A. So, I am going to take it once again and represent the location of point A. So, we got the x coordinate when we drew a perpendicular from point A to the x axis. It went through plus 4. Therefore, the x coordinate is plus 4. As I have told you, first we have to mention the x coordinate when writing the coordinates of a point. Then I am going to write the y coordinate. For that, I have drawn a perpendicular from point A to the y axis, and it goes through plus 3. Therefore, my y coordinate is plus 3. Right. Then I can write the coordinates of point A as 4, 3, and you have to mention it within brackets. Right. These coordinates are sometimes called as ordered pairs as well. So, you might come across both words when you are doing questions on Cartesian plane. Right. Okay. Now, I have taught you, right. By now, you know how to write the coordinates of a marked point. Right. Now, I am going to give you some questions and see whether you can write the coordinates of these marked points. Right. Question number 1. Find the location of point B. So, we will find the location of point B now. See, first of all, I need to get the x coordinate. Therefore, I am going to draw a perpendicular from point B to the x axis, and you can see the perpendicular goes through plus 5. Therefore, the x coordinate is plus 5. Then I am going to find the y coordinate. So, I am going to draw a perpendicular from point B to the y axis. Then you can see the point goes through plus 3. Therefore, the y coordinate of point B is equals to plus 3. Right. Now, we can write the coordinates of this point, because we know the x coordinate and y coordinate separately. So, first of all, when you write the coordinates of a point, first you have to mention the x coordinate, then you have to mention the y coordinate. So, we will write the coordinates of the point. The coordinates of point B, you have to mention it within brackets. X coordinate is 5, y coordinate is 3. Therefore, within brackets 5, 3 should be written. Right. We will move on to another one. We will find the location of point C now. Right. Once again, when you are finding the location of point C, you have to get the x coordinate and then the y coordinate. So, we will find the x coordinate first. First of all, I am going to draw a perpendicular from point C towards the x axis, and you can see the perpendicular goes to plus 3. Therefore, the x coordinate is plus 3. Then I am going to draw a perpendicular from point C to the y axis to get the y coordinate. So, here as you can see, the perpendicular goes through plus 6. Therefore, I can see the y coordinate is plus 6. Right. Once again, we know both x and y coordinates of point C. Therefore, we can write the coordinates of point C now. Right. Once again, we have to mention the x coordinate first, then the y coordinate, and you have to mention it within brackets. Therefore, the coordinates of point C can be written as 3, 6, and you have to mention it within brackets. Right. Now, let us find the location of point O. Can you see where point O is? It is exactly marked on 0. Therefore, the x coordinate of point O is equals to 0. The y coordinate of point O is also equals to 0. Therefore, we can say the coordinates of point O is 0, 0, and you have to mention it within brackets. And here, can you remember that I have told you this point O is the origin of this Cartesian plane. Therefore, I can say 0, 0 is the coordinates of the origin of a Cartesian plane. Right. Now, it is the time for you to check whether you have studied the lesson properly or not. Right. Here, I have given you a Cartesian plane. I have marked some points on the Cartesian plane, and in the right hand side, I have given you a table. Right. Now, you have to take marked points one by one, and you have to write the x coordinates, y coordinates, and the coordinates of these points separately. So, I want you to do this before me and check whether your table is same as mine. So, I will start with point A. To get the x coordinate, I have drawn a perpendicular from point A to the x axis. There I can see the perpendicular goes to plus 5. Therefore, the x coordinate is plus 5. Then to get the y coordinate, I have drawn a perpendicular from point A to the y axis, and I can see the perpendicular goes to plus 2. Therefore, the y coordinate is plus 2. So, I can get the coordinates of point A as, first I have to mention the x coordinate, then the y coordinate. So, the coordinates are 5, 2, and you have to mention it within brackets. So, then let us move on to point B. So, to get the x coordinate, once again I have drawn a perpendicular from point B to the x axis. Therefore, I can get the perpendicular goes to plus 1. Therefore, I can say the x coordinate of point B is equals to plus 1. So, I will draw a perpendicular from point B to the y axis to get the y coordinate. So, when I draw a perpendicular, as you can see, the perpendicular goes to plus 2. Therefore, I can say the y coordinate of point B is equals to plus 2. Right. Therefore, I can write the coordinates of point B as 1, 2. Once again, you have to mention it within brackets. Right. Then let us look at point C. To get the x coordinate of point C, once again I am going to draw a perpendicular from point C to the x axis. There I can say the perpendicular goes to plus 6 of x axis. That means the x coordinate of point C is equals to plus 6. Then I am going to get the y coordinate by drawing a perpendicular from point C to the y axis. There I can say the perpendicular goes through plus 6. Therefore, the y coordinate is also plus 6. That means the coordinates of point C can be written as 6, 6, and you have to mention it within brackets. Then we will move on to point D. Once again I am going to get the x coordinate of point B by drawing a perpendicular from point D to the x axis. So, the perpendicular goes to plus 4. Therefore, I can say the x coordinate of point D is equals to plus 4. Then I am going to draw a perpendicular from point D to the y axis to get the y coordinate, and I can say the y coordinate of point D is equals to plus 5. Therefore, I can write the coordinates of point D as 4, 5. Once again you have to mention it within brackets. Right. Next we will move on to point E. Once again I am going to draw a perpendicular from point E to the x axis to get the x coordinate, and I can say the x coordinate of point E is equals to 0 and the y coordinate of point E is equals to plus 1. Therefore, the coordinates of point E can be written as 0, plus 1. Right. Then I will move on to point F. When I draw a perpendicular from point F to the x axis, it goes to plus 3. Isn't that so? Therefore, I can say the x coordinate of point F is equals to plus 3 and it is on the x coordinate. Therefore, when I draw a perpendicular from point F to the y coordinate, I can say it goes to 0. That means the y coordinate of point F is equals to 0. That means the coordinates of the point F can be written as 3, 0 once again within brackets. Have you observed in point E and F that point E stands on the y axis, therefore, the x coordinate is 0 and point F lies on the x axis, therefore, the y coordinate is equals to 0. So, check whether your table is same as mine. Okay. Next, we are going to learn how to plot points on a Cartesian plane. Right. Plotting points in sense, this time we are going to get the coordinates and using those coordinates we are going to mark the points on the Cartesian plane. For this also you have to remember the things you have just learned. When you are writing the coordinates, first you have to mention the x coordinate, then you have to mention the y coordinate. So, we will quickly move on to an example. Plot the point K within brackets 8, 3 on a Cartesian plane. So, first of all, we have to understand what does this means. We will get the coordinates once again. K 8, 3. That means the x coordinate of point K is equals to 8. The y coordinate of point K is equals to 3. The name of the point is K, x coordinate is equals to 8 and the y coordinate is equals to 3. So, now we are going to plot this point on the given Cartesian plane. So, we will start with the x coordinate. So, x coordinate is 8. Therefore, I am going to start from 0 and I am going to move 8 units towards my x axis, right. Okay. Then I will get the y coordinate, that is equals to 3. Therefore, I am going to move 3 units towards my y axis. There I can get the point which we have to plot. Okay. Then we have to mark the point and we have to name the point correctly. So, here we have marked the point K which has the coordinates of 8, 3. So, let us mark another point on a Cartesian plane. Right. This is the point Q. So, we will read the question. Plot the point Q 5, 5 on a Cartesian plane. Right. Now, we have got point Q, that means the name of the point is Q. The coordinates are 5, 5, that means the x coordinate is equals to 5 and the y coordinate is equals to 5 once again. So, these are the x and y coordinates. So, we will start from 0 and I will get the x coordinate first. I am going to move 5 times towards through the x axis and next I am going to take the y coordinate. Then I am going to move 5 times or 5 units through the y axis. Then I got the point which I need to plot, that is point Q. Therefore, I need to name the point as Q. Right. Now, we have already marked or plotted 2 points on a Cartesian plane. Right. Now, next one is for you. So, I will read the question. So, quickly try to provide the answer for it. Plot the point R 6, 0 on a Cartesian plane. I will say it once again. Plot the point R 6, 0 on a Cartesian plane. Now, the Cartesian plane is given, the Cartesian plane is marked up to +7. So, we will get the coordinates of the point first, we will understand what is there and then we will plot the point. Right. Point R, the x coordinate is equals to +6 and the y coordinate is equals to 0. Once again, in the previous exercise, I have told you when the y coordinates is equals to 0, where should the letter should where should the value is going to be plotted? We will see. Here I have moved 6 times towards the x axis, then I have moved 0 times or 0 units towards the y axis. Therefore, I could mark the point R on x axis. That means, when the y coordinate is 0, the point should be marked on the x axis. I will say it once again, when the y coordinate is equals to 0, it is the you can get it as the form of x, 0, that means y should be always equals to 0, then the point should be marked on the x axis. Okay. Then we will move on to another one. This time I am going to mark point T. There I can see the x coordinate is equals to 0. So, we will go to the question quickly. Plot the point T 0, 3 on a Cartesian plane. Once again, plot the point T 0, 3 on a Cartesian plane. Right. Now, the Cartesian plane is given. Once again, I am going to get the coordinates and I am trying to understand what is mentioned there. Right. T, first x coordinate is equals to 0, then the y coordinate is equals to plus 3. Therefore, I need to move 0 units towards x axis and then 3 units towards y axis. Then I can obtain the point where I should mark. Right. This is point T. Previously, y coordinate was 0. Therefore, we have marked the point on x axis. Here, the x coordinate is equals to 0. Therefore, we have to mark the point on the y axis. So, we can say since the x coordinate is 0, the point lies on the y axis, and we can say the coordinates of a point with x coordinate is 0 is of the form of 0, y. That means, you can put any value for y, always x coordinate is equals to 0. Right. Now, you know how to plot a point on a Cartesian plane properly. Right. Today, first of all, we learned how to get the coordinates of a point. Then first we learned how to draw a Cartesian plane properly. Then we will learn how to get the coordinates of a point. Then we have learned how to plot points on a Cartesian plane. Now, it is the time for do some questions. So, I am going to start with the question number 1. Plot the given points on a Cartesian plane. Here I have given you 5 points. You need to plot these points on a Cartesian plane. Now, quickly copy this Cartesian plane down and try to plot these points on it. Right. You have already drawn the Cartesian plane. So, we will start with the first question. I am sure you are going to do it before me, and you can check whether your answers are similar to mine. Right. First one, point K. That is, we can say the coordinates are 3, 2. That means the x coordinate is equals to 3 and the y coordinate is equals to 2. So, you can plot it. You have to move 3 units towards the x coordinate, then 2 units towards the y coordinate. So, then you can get the point K. You can get the point where you need to mark. So, I have marked point there and I have named it as K. At the same time, check whether your answers are correct or not. Right. Next, question number 2. Point L, the coordinates are 5, 6. So, the x coordinate is equals to 5, y coordinate is equals to 6. So, I need to move 5 times towards the x axis, then 6 times towards the y axis. Then I can get the point where I should mark. So, I have to mark the point properly and I have to name it as L. Right. Then part 3, that is point M, the coordinates are 7, 0. So, that means I need to move 7 points towards the x axis, then 0 points towards the y axis. There you have learned before that when the y coordinate is equals to 0, the point should lie on the x axis. Therefore, we need to mark point M on the x axis. So, I have marked the point here and I have named it as M. Right. Next one, point N, the coordinates are 0, 5. Once again, here x coordinate is equals to 0. Therefore, we have learnt that it should lie on the y-axis. Therefore, I should not move in x-axis, I should move 4 units towards the y-axis. There I can get the point where I should mark point N. I have marked there and named it as N. Then the last one, point O, the coordinates are 0, 0. By now you know that 0, 0 is the coordinate of the origin. So, we should mark point O on the origin of the Cartesian plane. Right. Did you get the answers correctly? I am sure you have got the answers correctly. If not, quickly correct your answers on your books. Right. We will move on to another question. This is question number 2. Right. Plot the following points on a Cartesian plane. Join them with straight line segments in the order of the letters and return to the starting point. Suggest a suitable name for the constructed figure. I will go through the question once again. Plot the following points on a Cartesian plane, then join them with straight line segments in the order of the letters and return to the starting point. Suggest a suitable name for the constructed figure. Here I have given you points as point A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Right. First of all, we have to plot these points on a Cartesian plane. So, we will do that first. So, we will start from point A, the x coordinate is 1, y coordinate is 0. By now, we know that when the y coordinate is equals to 0, it should lie on the x axis. So, I can mark point A here. Then I will move on to point B. The x coordinate is 0, y coordinate is plus 3. By now you know that when the x coordinate is equals to 0, the point should lie on the y axis. Therefore, we can mark point B here and we have to name the point. Then I will move on to point C. The x coordinate is 2, y coordinate is 3. Therefore, we have to move 2 units towards the x axis and 3 units towards the y axis. Therefore, I can mark the point C here. Then I will move on to point D. The x coordinate is 3 and the y coordinate is 7. So, I have to move 3 units towards the x axis and 7 units towards the y axis. Therefore, I can plot the point here and I have to name the point. Then I will mark point E. The x coordinate is 5 and y coordinate is 3. Check whether you have plot the point on the correct place and name the point as E. Then the f coordinate, then the point F. The x coordinate is 8, y coordinate is 3. So, you have to move 8 units towards the x axis and 3 units towards the y axis. So, you can plot the point here and name it as F. Finally, you have got point G. The x coordinate is 7 and y coordinate is 0. By now you know that when the y coordinate is equals to 0, it should lie on the x axis. Right. So, you have to plot the point here and you have to name it as G. Then they have asked you to join all these points and suggest a name for the shape you are going to obtain. So, I am going to join AB, BC, CD, DE, EF, FG and at last GA. So, what is the shape that you can see here? For me, it is like a boat. Is it different for you? We will see. So, I have named it as a boat. Right. That is the end of question number 2, and before winding up the lesson, I thought of summarize the lesson that you have learned today. Today we have learnt about a Cartesian plane. We have learnt how to draw a Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane means we have drawn two number lines perpendicular to each other and the intersection point should goes through 0. So, this intersection point 0 is named as the origin of the Cartesian plane. Then there are two axes in the Cartesian plane. First one is the x axis and the second one is the y axis. Then we have learnt how to plot points on then we have learnt how to write the coordinates on of the points that are already plotted on a Cartesian plane. For an example, here I have got point P. We have drawn the x coordinate by drawing a perpendicular from the given point to the x axis. Here I can get the x coordinate. Then I have drawn a perpendicular from the given point to the y axis to get the y coordinate. Therefore, the x coordinate is 5 and the y coordinate is 4. Therefore, we can write the coordinates of the point as 5, 4. Finally, you learnt how to plot points on a Cartesian plane. So, for an example, here I have given you point Q. The coordinates are 7, 5. So, we have to move 7 units towards the x axis and 5 units towards the y axis. Then we can plot the point Q and you have to name the point. So, these are the things we have learned today in our lesson unit 23 Cartesian plane. So, now it is the time for you to do the homework. In your textbook, you have two exercises, exercise 23.1 and exercise 23.2. So, I think you got the lesson clearly. So, if you want to go through the lesson once again or else if you have missed the lesson, you can watch the same lesson in YouTube channel NIE. Therefore, I hope you all would stay safe. So, once again we will meet up in another lesson. Take care.